Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Em, and this is the intro for a very specific YA middle grade reading vlog. When the Nebulas were announced February, I knew I was going to read the novel list and the novella list, and then thought if I was feeling spicy, I would read the YA middle grade list. And then I had kind of a slumpy few weeks in May, and I felt like I needed a project to help pull me through that slump. So I placed a hold on all the books that were on that middle grade YA list, and I proceeded to read them. And that is what this vlog is. I'm recording this as after I have finished. So we'll go back in time in the next part to where I'm starting the first book in the stack. But I mean, spoiler alert, I had such a great time reading these books. These are some of the best books for YA middle grade that I've read in a really, really long time. This is also the most successful award list reading experience I've had in a long time. I started reading the Hugo finalists in 2020 because I just needed something to help me feel alive, and I've done it every year since. So this will be my 4th year reading the Hugos. This is my 2nd year reading the Nebulas, and there's always a 2-star book definitely in the novel stack. Novellas, I feel like they rate a little bit higher generally, but there's always a book that really does not work for me, and I don't think I gave anything under a 3.5 for this stack of books. So these are all highly rated. I loved them all, though there are some that I loved significantly more than others, and you'll see me nerd out about those. But it was just such a good time. So if you are interested in hearing more about the books that I read, about what I thought, also they are almost all queer. So that was really fun and unexpected, and I loved it so much. But yeah, if you're interested in hearing more, stick around, and we'll rewind in time and go back to when I started the first book. Good morning, friends. Apologies for the lighting. It was summer. Now apparently it's not anymore. That's very overcast. But I'm going to start the first book for this vlog. I'm going to start Every Bird a Prince. This is by Jen Reese, who I've never read from before. The library says this is YA, though this gives me middle grade vibes. I don't know about anybody else, but I get middle grade vibes. I don't normally read the synopsis, but I'm going to do it this time just because I'm going into all of these 5 books with zero knowledge of what any of them are about. I'm really just reading them because they were on the Nebula list. So this one, it says, the only time Erin Evers feels like herself is when she's on her bike, racing through the deep woods. While so much of her life at home and at school is flying out of control, the muddy trails and sting of wind in her face are familiar comforts. Until she rescues a strange, magical bird who reveals a shocking secret. Their forest kingdom is under attack by the vile Frostfangs, an ancient foe, and the birds need Erin's help to survive. 7th grade is hard enough without adding Bird Champion to her list of after-school activities. Lately, Erin's friends seem obsessed with their crushes and the upcoming dance, while Erin can't figure out what a crush should even feel like. Still, if she doesn't play along, they may leave her behind, or just leave her altogether. Then the birds enlist one of Erin's classmates, forcing her separate lives to collide. When her mother starts behaving oddly, oh no, Erin realizes that the Frostfangs, with their insidious whispers, are now hunting outside the woods. In order to save her mom, defend an entire kingdom, and keep the friendships she holds most dear, Erin will need to do something utterly terrifying. Be brave enough to embrace her innermost truths, no matter the cost. Okay, who wants to place a bet that I will cry while reading this book? Anyways, I'm going to start this one. I will update as I go, and stick around if you want to. You don't have to. Okay, bye. I know I said I would update as I went, but I finished this book in one day. I read it in 2 sittings. I read about half in the little B-roll you saw, and then I read the other half last night after my kids went to bed, and it was fantastic. Okay. So, and I've got to check what the synopsis says again because I don't remember what I read yesterday. All right, so this starts pretty quick. The bird rescuing, the her friends being obsessed with the crushes and the dance, the Frostfangs going after her mom. That all happens really fast. And so the rest of the book most of the book is Erin figuring out how to save everyone, figuring out herself. This is definitely YA, maybe older YA, but I'm going to shove this into my 11-year-old's hands because I think she will love Erin and that she will resonate with what Erin is going through and who Erin is so much. But y'all, this has Ace rep. I don't know if this is a spoiler, so if you like super care, maybe skip ahead a couple minutes. But one of the big plot lines is Erin realizing that she is Ace, and coming out to her friends specifically. She doesn't say anything to her mom in the book, but that's okay. Anyways, it's so good. I've never read a middle grade book with Ace representation. It made me so happy. And I'm going to argue that it's not a spoiler because I think it's pretty clear early on that that is what Erin is going to discover about herself, just the way she thinks about potentially dating, having to come up with a crush, like having to pick a person to tell her friends she has a crush on, even though she doesn't have a crush on anybody, the way she responds when she thinks about holding hands or kissing or dating. It was so clear early on that this was going to be a book where she realized she was Ace. There's also bi rep. There's so much in this book. So if you read middle grade, if you like a queer coming of age story, if you like stories about friendship, if you like stories about believing in yourself, if you like stories about like learning to listen to yourself and be true to who you are, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, read this book. It's so good. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. This is such an unexpected surprise. I definitely did not expect to love this book as much as I did because I've never heard of it before. I'm not familiar with this author. But I'm so happy. This was so good. And I just want everyone to read it now. Okay, thanks. All right, I'm recording this preemptively because I'm not technically going to start this one now. I'm going to go to work. But I wanted to record the intro and let you know what this one's about. So the next book up is The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester. This is by Maya Gregory. I love this cover. It's so pretty. And this one says, Sam Sylvester has long collected stories of half-lived lives of kids who died before they turned 19. Oh, it's another sad one. Sam was almost one of those kids. Now, as Sam's own 19th birthday approaches, their recent near-death experience haunts them. They're certain they don't have much time left. Still, Sam begins to settle into their new hometown with the help of their neighbor, Shep, who Sam can't stop thinking about. Yet the past keeps roaring back, in memories and in the form of a 30-year-old suspicious death. Sam can't resist trying to find out more about the kid who died in Sam's new home, and who now seems to guide their investigation. When Sam starts receiving threatening notes, they know they're on the path to uncovering a murderer. But is Sam also approaching their own end? The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester explores healing in the aftermath of trauma and the joy in having a full life. All right, that's up next. Wish me luck. I hope this is similar to Every Bird a Prince. I hope this isn't as sad as the synopsis makes it sound. Okay, I'll update later. All right, I lied. I read like the first 2 pages just to get an idea of the tone, and this is the second book in a row that is set in Oregon. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Every Bird a Prince set in a fictional town in Oregon, and then Sam Sylvester is set in Astoria, Oregon. So I'm really liking this trend so far. It's super cool. Yeah, okay, that's it. Hello again. I wanted to do a quick update before it gets too late for me to have coherent thoughts. I'm about 120 pages in to The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester. This is super great too. Sam is non-binary, and they are also autistic, and they're adopted, and they and their dad have just moved to Astoria from Montana. And you learn right away that something really horrible happened in Montana, and Sam, like, their life was in danger. And so they and their dad had to move, and they've been kind of, not wandering around, but they haven't been living in one place for very long for the past 8 months. And so Astoria is supposed to be kind of their fresh start. Sam's dad has a new job. Sam's going to start at a new high school. And there's also a little bit of like a ghost element. There's a murder mystery thing going on. But really at the core of this, because this is in Sam's point of view, so your first person, and Sam, I don't know how you read this book and not fall a little bit in love with Sam in the first chapter. Just their way of looking at the world, engaging with the world, what it means to engage with the world when you're autistic, how it affects making friendships, how it affects Sam dealing with their feelings, processing their trauma from what happened in Montana, just all those things. I'm really loving this so far. And I will say a huge trigger warnings for trauma and grief and panic attack. And there was a pretty intense part already in this book for Sam, dealing a little bit with a flashback from the event that happened in Montana. And as the reader, you've gotten hints of what has happened, but we as the reader don't know the whole story yet. So definitely look out for that. And obviously with that plot, it's very heavy. There's a lot going on, but there are some really lovely moments between Sam and their dad, and Sam and their new friends, and it's just fantastic. Good morning. Happy Friday. This week, kicked my butt. I'm really tired. I've slept through my alarm 3 days in a row. I have about an hour left in The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester. I'm liking it so much. There is a lot more suspenseful thrillerness to this than I typically read, or than I was expecting. The murder mystery ghost component is a lot more prevalent, but there's also this really lovely thread of Sam, I don't know what the word I want is, feeling at home, finding a place where they belong, finding a place where they can be safe. But then there's also the conversation of like, there's really nowhere in this country where a non-binary or trans person is truly safe. There are always going to be people who want to hurt them or don't think they belong just because of who they are. Yeah, it's one of those books where it's like, it's sad, but it's also really sweet, and it's really just sad because it's rooted enough in our reality, and our reality is really sad sometimes. So I don't know, bittersweet, maybe that's the word I want. So I don't know if this will still be a 5-star read, but at the bare minimum it will be a really high 4. But like I said, I have about an hour left. I'm really tired, so I'm not actually going to work out today, but I thought I might go for a walk to go get coffee. And I'm going to be stealing a page from my friend Dakota's playbook, and I'm going to be picking my kids up early from school today so we can go see the new Little Mermaid movie that is out today. And I told them before I dropped them off because I wasn't sure if picking them up early would be a good surprise or if it would make them anxious. So I just told them before I dropped them off. So they're super excited. I'm really excited. I think it'll be a good start to a long weekend. And I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Sam Sylvester while I'm on my pilgrimage to get caffeine. And if I finish it during the walk, I will let you know and give final thoughts. And yeah, maybe I'll take some B-roll while I'm on my walk because it is beautiful weather today. Friends, it is the end of the day. I mean, not the end of the day. It's like 6 o'clock. No, 5 o'clock. What is time? Anyways, it's hours later is the point. And I finally finished the many half-lived lives of Sam Sylvester. I didn't finish it on my walk because it ended up being kind of hot and I got sweaty a lot quicker than I was expecting to, and so I cut my walk short. And then I had to eat lunch. Then I went and got the kids, and we went to the Little Mermaid, and we all liked it so much and had such a good time. I was 5, I think, when the animated Little Mermaid came out in movie theaters. So it is a big core memory for me in my childhood. And there's something really magical about seeing this live action cast. I do think that Disney really fails at these live action remakes because they try too hard to copy the animated movies frame by frame. And I really think they, I don't know, undersell their audience. Like, we're smart. We can, well, not all people, but we can watch a retelling of a story and have it be different from the original. And I think this new movie shines during the parts where they let it get away from the animated, the parts where they extended the storyline, where they added more detail. But we had such a good time. I cried twice. I liked the new songs that they added. I loved Awkwafina as Scuttle. That just made me so happy. But anyways, I think it's perfectly on par with the live action Beauty and the Beast, live action Aladdin. Like, I think if you went to those movies and you had a good time, like, you know, then you'll have a good time with The Little Mermaid. So anyways, back to books. So I just finished this. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 because everything I have said earlier still holds true. I really love the characters. There's a scene where it was just Sam hanging out with their new friends and just being like teenagers and high school students. And it gave me so many warm, fuzzy feelings to just read just how you are when you're with your friends and you're in high school. So I really loved that. It's not a 5-star because the like resolution of the murder mystery felt super dramatic. And I didn't entirely buy the like justification for everything. It felt like a little bit of a stretch. But it was just, this is just so lovely and so wonderful. Oh my gosh, totally worth it injuring myself on my book. So anyways, it was lovely. And I'm going to figure out which one to read next. Good morning. It is Saturday, which sadly is a busy day for me and not a relaxing like weekend reading day. I'm about to leave for work, but I just wanted to update really quick that I'm going to start Mirrorwood by Deva Fagan today and see what it's about. Fable has been cursed by a twisted magic that villagers call the Blight, which forces her to steal and wear the faces of others or risk oblivion. To find her true self, she'll have to enter the treacherous Mirrorwood and free it from the demon prince who has ruled it for centuries. Thankfully, she has her faithful and opinionated feline companion, Moth, by her side. Pursued by Vicarax, a fierce apprentice blight hunter who is determined to destroy her, Fable plunges through the thorny forest into a world that is trapped in time and rife with peril. There, she encounters a boisterously chatty skull, a library full of lying books, and a beast so powerful it tears at the fabric of reality, leaving nothingness in its wake. Fable will soon discover that in the Mirrorwood, nothing is quite like the stories say. I think this is going to be very fun and very different from Every Bird a Prince and The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester. So that will be fun because as much as I loved the first two books, they had a lot of similarities. So I'm looking forward to reading something that's totally different. So that's what I'll be starting today. I realized one of the books on this list is a sequel. So I have the ebook of the first one that I started last night. And luckily the first one is available through Kobo Plus, which if you don't know, Kobo is a Canadian company and they do e-readers and ebooks. And so they're a great alternative if you want to read ebooks, if you want to read ebooks from your library, but don't want to give money to Amazon, which I do not want to give money to Amazon. So I have a Kobo, and Kobo just launched what is their version of Kindle Unlimited, and I'm super excited about it. So the Unlimited ebooks plan is $7.99 a month, and then if you want to do, I think it's ebooks and audiobooks combined, it's like $9.99. And I've never listened to audiobooks through Kobo, which I guess you can do like through their app on your iPhone. But I also have 3 audiobook apps going already. No, I have 4 because I have Chirp. So I don't know that I need yet another audiobook app. But I'm having a lot of fun with Kobo Plus. And that first book was there. So win-win for me. But anyways, I am off to walk to work. I think I'm gonna wait to start this later this afternoon because I am currently reading 2 other books that I would really like to. I'm really close to being finished with one, and then I'd like to make progress on the other because I've been neglecting it with all the project reading that I'm doing. But anyways, I need to head off. I didn't even look at my watch. What time is it? I need to head out, and I will check in later. 3 days since I last updated, and I'm 52 pages in. I'm sure this is a totally fine book, and I would probably be more into it if I hadn't read such good books right before it. This just doesn't feel like it's anything new, I guess, so far. I'm only 50 pages. I am going to keep reading. I just felt like I should probably update that I am struggle bussing. But this is about Fable, who is one of 6. Her family has 3 sets of twins. Listen, I feel like authors who do that don't actually have twins, because I don't know why you would do that. Like, why would you give somebody 3 sets of twins? One set of twins nearly killed me. I cannot imagine having a second set. And then if you did have a second set, choosing to then try again for more children. Anyways, that's a side tangent. And Fable is blighted, which basically is a stand-in for cursed. And she doesn't have a face of her own, so she borrows faces from people by touching them, and then she wears that face. And in this kingdom, blighted people are supposed to be executed, so her family has been keeping her a secret for 10 years. I don't know how old she is. 10, 11, probably, because, middle grade. So they've been protecting her, and then she's discovered by a blight hunter, and in order to save herself and save her family and lift the curse that's on her so that she could maybe have her own face instead of always needing to borrow someone else's, she goes into the Mirror Woods to try to free the demon prince and thus lift the curse. That's where we're at right now. I will say there is a talking cat in this one named Moth. And depending on how the rest of this book goes, I will probably hand this to my cat-obsessed daughter afterwards, because I think she would have a good time with it. But yeah, I'm going to continue to try to work my way through this. That is your update.
Good morning, friends. It's super early, but I just finished Mirrorwood, and I think this was fine. I think it's perfect for its intended age group and intended audience. I think cast. Ooh, it's backwards. I think the cast of characters is really fun. And it got very adventurous, and it has a lot of really wonderful things to say about identity and compassion and empathy, and how important they are, and how important it is to acknowledge pain and suffering, and when you unintentionally cause someone pain, and that you can't just ignore it and sweep it under the rug because it's uncomfortable. So I liked all the messaging. I think this is one of those middle grade books that doesn't transcend to adult audiences as easily as, say, Every Bird a Prince. Also, I think if I had not read this on the tails of Every Bird a Prince and The Many Half-Lived Lives, I would have liked it a lot more, but because it has those two as its companions, the rating suffers a little bit, but I still had a good time. I'm glad I read it. I'm bummed it broke the queer book streak for this vlog, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go finish my coffee, and yeah, I'll come back later when I am awake and more awake and there's more light, and we'll talk about what I'm gonna read next.
Hello again. It is, I don't know what time it is. It's after 12:30. I worked, and today's my lesson planning day, so I'm at work a little bit longer. I have about an hour and a half before I need to start thinking about going and getting the kids from school. Then I have some chores to do, but I'm going to start the audiobook for Ruby Finley versus the Interstellar Invasion. I just have this on audio right now. I have a hold on the library book, and I've had a hold on it for forever, but it's checked out. And there's only one copy in my whole like big library system. And then I tried to order it from my bookstore and it's on back order. So this is the book that won the Nebula. So it makes sense that it's like in high demand now. Sorry, I'm moving my camera around so much. But I'm still going to read the synopsis. I have it pulled up on Macmillan's website. And then the audiobook is available from, it's on Scribd for me. I don't know, does Scribd differentiate like what's available and what's not? I don't know, but it's on Scribd. This is about 11-year-old Ruby is a black girl who loves studying insects and would do just about anything to be an entomologist, much to the grossed out dismay of her grandma. Ruby knows everything there is to know about insects, so when she finds the weirdest bug she's ever seen in her front yard, she makes sure no one is looking and captures it for further study. But then Ruby realizes that the creature isn't just a regular bug, and it has promptly burned a hole through her window and disappeared. Soon, random things around the neighborhood go missing, and no one's heard from the old lady down the street for a week. Ruby and her friends will have to recover the strange bug before the feds do. Ruby is the science hero we've all been waiting for. I'm so excited. I didn't know it was about bugs. I'm super, super into it. Okay, so I'm going to go start that and yeah. Okay, bye. All right, I've only finished chapter 1, but I love how fast, can I get good lighting? Thank you. I love how fast middle grade moves. Like, chapter 1, the whole thing we got in the synopsis happened in chapter 1. She found the bug. She couldn't figure out what the bug was. She lost the bug. The feds showed up looking for the bug. And yeah, it just like bam, 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 bam. Thank you. I love it. I don't need us to waste time with setting the scene, getting used to our environment. Just start the story. Good morning. I am getting ready to go chaperone my youngest's field trip this morning. They are in first grade, so that should be fun, I guess, maybe. But I wanted to do a quick update for Ruby Finley versus the Intergalactic Invasion. Is that what it's called? This is the problem when I only listen to a book on audio and then I don't know the title or anything. But anyways, I think I got about halfway yesterday, maybe a little less. And it's super fun. I think Ruby is a great character. Like, she's super into bugs. She wants to like play video games with her friends. Her friend group is really like the banter and the interactions between her and her friends is really delightful and fun and feels fairly realistic for what 11-year-olds are like with their friends, at least as far as I know from having 2 11-year-olds and overhearing them with their friends. And it's just, yeah, it's really fun. I would say it skews a little bit younger on the middle grade scale. And, you know, it's already kind of stepping into, because of the federal agents that are coming to find this bug, like, you know, this is a predominantly Black neighborhood. And so, you know, the very, very earned distrust of white agents like that. And Ruby's already bumping into a white teacher's conception that a Black girl isn't smart enough to want to be a scientist. And, you know, so it's tackling all of that stuff in, I think, a very age-appropriate way and raising up how unfair it is that Ruby should get judged that way. I really like it.
I think it's really good and really fun. And I cannot wait to find out what is the deal with this bug. So, and if it's actually like an alien or if it's a, I don't know, something else. But anyways, I better go drink my coffee and then go. I don't even know how many first graders are going to be on this field trip, if it's the whole grade or if it's just my child's class. So wish me luck. Hi friends, I just finished Ruby Finley versus the Interstellar Invasion. It was so fun. I loved all the stuff about bugs. My science nerd heart. I don't know. I watched the bug episode of Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. That's on Netflix. And I don't know. I might be going through a bug phase. Like, they kind of gross me out, but I also think they're really super cool. So I don't know. Stay tuned. Maybe I need a nonfiction book about bugs. But I thought it was really fun. I think I said that already. It got really adventurous with Ruby and her friends, like trying to figure out where this bug went and doing their own investigation. And I really love it when it's like a group of friends or a group of neighborhood kids have to like band together to solve the problem that the adults are too like slow to figure out. So that was really fun, and I loved that it touched on a lot of things. It touched on Black girls are underestimated in science, how dangerous the police can be. It touched on houselessness and how people who are unhoused can be discriminated against, and it touched on so many things in a really great way, where a kid could read this book and just kind of blow through all of that and be like, oh yeah, this was really fun, or I really, I had a good time. But then like if you're also reading it aloud with a child or your buddy reading it, there's a lot of really great moments to like have extended conversation based off of the stuff that the book brings up. So it was a good time. I really liked it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I also love how this book and The Mirrorwood and Sam Sylvester a little bit had really engaged parents. And so these children like weren't just kind of abandoned and on their own. They had a support system. They have people who love them, and they are going out and having to solve these problems on their own. But I like that all 3 of these books, the kids had a grown-up that they trusted. I also feel like I need to circle back, and because while The Mirrorwood and Ruby Finley don't have a queer protagonist, there are queer periphery characters. So in The Mirrorwood, one of Fable's siblings is non-binary, and then there is secondary or maybe even a tertiary character who is in a same-sex relationship. And then in Ruby Finley, there's reference to one of the kids having 2 moms. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Not as gay as I would like it to be, but that's okay. So I only have 1 book left to read for this vlog. Definitely underestimated how much time I would be investing into this vlog and how much work it was going to take to read all the books on this list, mostly because I also did not realize that one of the books was a sequel and I needed to read book 1 first. So fun for me. Now I'm going to go and finish book 1 because I'm about halfway through. So now I'll just focus on that, and I'll come back and update when I am ready to start book 2. Good morning. Happy Sunday. It is very early, but I am going to start the last book for this vlog. I'm going to start Scratch Daughters by H.A. Clark, though I believe this author goes by August Clark. Yes, okay. So this is a sequel. If you watched my Nebula novel video, which I can link down below, they don't know how I feel about sequels that cannot be read as standalones being put on book word lists. But I crammed in book 1, which is The Scapegracers, and I actually really loved it, so I'm not that mad that I had to read it, but I was not anticipating adding an extra book to this vlog. Anyways, I'm still gonna read the synopsis for this, but I will put a little like spoilerish thing. So if you don't want, because the synopsis for this is gonna spoil what happens in Scapegracers, so you can just skip ahead until the spoiler thing goes away. Sideways Pike is desperate. It turns out that Madeline Klein didn't want to make out with her. Infinitely worse, she was only flirting to get access to Sideways' specter. Madeline has ripped the magical soul out of Sideways' throat, and with it, everything that makes a witch feel whole. Madeline would know. The Chantry boys took hers, and she's going to use Sideways' specter to hunt them down and get it back. Sideways Pike, lesbian witch extraordinaire, isn't going to let little things like a treacherous crush or a brutal family of creepy witch hunters stop her. Even if it means tracking down Madeline without the Scapegracers, her best friends, her coven, the girls she's come to love ferociously above all else. But Sideways and her trusty bike are in for a bumpy ride. So that's a synopsis. I'm gonna read a little bit before my kids start to wake up for the day. And today is, well, it's my day off, so yay. But my kids take an aerial yoga class, so they have that this morning. And then my younger daughter, I mean, she's younger by a minute, but you know, it's okay. My younger daughter assistant teaches at her dance studio, and her little kids have their recital this afternoon, so she has to go like little kid wrangle, and it's like the age where the assistants are on stage doing the dance with them, so she's got to do that. But otherwise it's gonna be that was the coffee pot. Otherwise it's gonna be a pretty chill day. I hope to get a lot of reading done, and yeah. All right, friends, I will check back in when I have an update.
Hey, all right, update. I am 171 pages. I'm flying through this book. I read the synopsis for y'all, so if you listen to that, then you know we're getting into thoughts so far. I think we are going to have some really awesome conversations about religious trauma. I think that Sideways is really going to have a reckoning with gender and her sexual identity, because Scapegracers was not a coming out story. Sideways has been out for a while. Sideways has known she is gay for a while. And I think the way this is going, I mean, it's very much a B plot, maybe even a C plot, but I feel like we are going towards just Sideways discovering or figuring out if the person she always thought she was, or the identity she has thought she's had, is the correct one for her. I'm very interested to see
like what Clark has to say about that. People just walked by. It's fine. So I will say it's funnier than Scapegraces because of a character question mark that was introduced towards the end of Scapegracers. I find this character hilarious, and I love the voice that Clark writes him with. It is sadder to read because, you know, in Scapegracers we were having like Sideways and the three girls she becomes friends with, Yates, Daisy, and Jing, like they are becoming friends in Scapegracers, and part of the fun and the joy of that book is watching them find where they are reflected with each other and where they are very different from each other. And in this one, they are having some real, I don't know, hardships in their friendship. They are finding where those walls are. They're finding where they are really different and where those differences aren't reconcilable, and if that's like worth, like if they can maintain a friendship through that. So anyways, really like it so far, and I'll check in when I'm finished.
Finished Scratch Daughters very early this morning, and I really loved it. I just adore Clark's writing. I think if you are also a Tamsin Muir fan, you would like this duology. There's a lot of Clark's sentence structures and just the way they write Sideways thoughts reminded me so much of Gideon and Harrow. Like when I was reading the first book, I told my husband that I feel like Sideways is if you took Gideon and Harrow and combined them, like actually combined them and made them into one person, not. If you've read The Locked Tomb, you know. But I think they have a lot of similarities. So this looks so fun and so sweet. I teared up, which you might have seen in the B-roll, because I was not expecting for Clark to come after me like that. I love the friendship in this book. The friendship between Sideways and Yates and Jing and Daisy is so great. It's so nuanced. It's so flawed, but also so pure in the way that they love each other. And I love how unabashedly queer this duology is. And I don't know, I just love it. I hope Clark writes so many more books. I just loved it. So with this book being done, that brings us to the end of this very, very long reading vlog. Before I go, I do kind of want to rate these. I still don't have a physical copy of Ruby Finley. I never got a copy for the library, and a physical copy is still on back order, so that's fine. We'll just make do. So, Ruby Finley was the book that won. Just so y'all know, that's not my favorite of the bunch. So my favorite, if we're going from least favorite to most favorite, Mirrorwood. And then Ruby Finley would go right above Mirrorwood. I really liked Ruby Finley, but yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. So Mirrorwood, Ruby Finley. Oh no, it's gonna get hard. Oh, I don't like this part. I don't know why I feel the need to rank them. This is so dumb that I keep doing this to myself. Okay. Scratch Daughters, only because it's the second book in a series, and we know how I feel about books that can't stand on their own being on awards lists. And then The Many Half-Lived Lives of Sam Sylvester, and then Every Bird a Prince, which is still my favorite. So yeah. So that is my ranking for the YA and middle grade books that were on the Nebula list for 2023. If you made it through this very, very long video, thank you so much for watching, really. Even if you just had me on as background noise, still, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, if you like this idea, if you like this concept, please give this video a like. And I don't know, let me know if you have any thoughts about all these books, what you thought of this type of vlog, because I really haven't done anything like this before. And if you like the longer vlog versus the shorter videos. And if you want to leave an emoji, let's leave a bird emoji, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.